All right, guys, well, as you look live at our storm tracker radar, you can see bands of rain. The big story for this morning, moving from offshore to onshore, and some of that very heavy rain is showing up just south of Pensacola, south of Fort Walton Beach, and south of Destin, and will be working its way from offshore to onshore. You've also got marine warnings located offshore where numerous water spouts are showing up. They will have to be monitored to see just in case we can deal with an isolated tornado threat in the coastal regions. If we can key me up on the weather wall, I'll give you a better illustration of some of this stuff as you watch those showers move in that southeast to northwest direction. And also notice we've got tropical storm warnings on the Mississippi coast and the Louisiana coast. They are not going anywhere. That is Marco's current position south of Mobile, and we are on the bad side. We are dealing with offshore to onshore rain. We've got that coastal flooding threat and the isolated tornado threat, but the rain bands are also pretty far away from the center, and part of the reason why that's happening is because unseasonably high wind shear is located in the Gulf of Mexico, which rips apart these tropical systems. You don't believe me? Well, the maximum sustained winds were at 60 miles an hour during our last update. Now at 7:02, those wind speeds have dropped to 50 miles per hour, and it's tracking northwest at 10. So Marco is dying a very quick death because of that wind shear. Wind shear is like kryptonite for a tropical system. This feature is going to continue moving its way to the west and will die off by tomorrow night, if not sooner. But that wind shear is going to be gone before Laura moves into the Gulf waters. Laura will become a hurricane by tomorrow afternoon and will strengthen into a pretty powerful hurricane before making landfall late Wednesday night around the Texas-Louisiana line. We will still be to the east of this one, so we could still have very rough surf, possible offshore to onshore rain. And I know you're curious to know if we could have any track changes. Let's bring in meteorologist Jennifer Lambers to talk more about what some of the model guidance is looking like this morning regarding these systems. Jen?
Yeah, Michael, so what we're continuing to watch with these models, let's go ahead and check in on Marco first thing for this morning. We're seeing a lot of those models do that westerly shift with this system, but also a lot of them have them fizzling out just by the time they reach that Texas coastline. So that's a good thing to see with that high wind shear environment. So very short-lived on these models, but let's go ahead and check in on Laura. Now, a lot of these showing a lot more agreement with this path, just heading further west towards the Louisiana-Texas border. So what we're continuing to watch with Laura, a lot of agreement there. We have a high pressure ridge that's driving this system. Unfortunately, we're not seeing a lot of that wind shear by the time Laura approaches that coastline. So intensification is possible with this storm. Let's go ahead and check back in with Michael for the latest track with that as well.
Thanks a lot, Jennifer. So it's good news, bad news. The bad news is Laura going to be much stronger because of the lack of wind shear. The good news is it is projected to stay far away from our area, and it's unlikely that we're going to see it shift eastward toward our section of the Gulf Coast, but we will have to monitor for rough surf and offshore to onshore rainfall.